darkness imprisoned me. How can I live? How can I die? Uh, so, uh, again, I've called just my night subscription. I called onto something, and I'm doing something that would seem like, yes, I'm going kind of direct opposition, but not. It's really food for thought, and I find myself doing that to people I respect, that I truly respect. It's like I will get. I don't mean I naturally go to devil's advocate, and not because I don't respect them. It's like it's a pause for further examination. What I'd do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Let's stop and think fully about this now. And Algen's that correctly. I just watched a 25-second video that will not pop up the comment section. So it's had plenty of time to download and watch the whole video. It will not pop up the comment section. So I'm doing this. And maybe tomorrow I'll be able to post the comment section. I'm sorry to invade, but this out of respect. Like I said, I don't mean to harp on this. I'm across the pond. I'm no harm, but like you're the purest adult I've experienced so far, awakening Leela. But what's the point to wake if we don't decide? And I'm just proposing this. This is what the living souls on the internet have prompted me to like remember or to realize or decide to decide, even if you wish. What's the point of being awake? What's the point of being? How can you be if you don't get to decide? If you get no decision whatsoever, then how are you? And he's absolutely correct. He ended his video or Awakening Leela's video with exactly what I've been saying for years. You cannot leave one consciousness captive, I guess would be the right word. You cannot leave one conscious anywhere that could possibly be ever captive again, or you risk everything unraveling. He said it differently, but like that's been in my consciousness for years. So like, I'm not trying to brag, but just like, yes, you said and no matter if we're in complete agreement, you spoke complete truth. Because I can't verify that. That's what I feel. Like solar plexus, that's what I feel. I mean, that's, that comes to me, like not in words, but like in energy or whatever. Those are both words now, aren't they? That's the problem. That's been coming to me for years. Not one consciousness can be left captive anywhere. You cannot wake up in that cave and pitch black darkness and not have a light and not even know what light is. That cannot happen ever again. Time must end. Therefore, I had to stop listening to all Tellez. Sounds arrogant to say leave behind, but we all know needless complexity is the exact opposite of love. And Og just wore me the fuck out with needless complexity and would not stop. And you could warn him and not stop. And just like those that are insincere, and I'm not saying he is much better than I. Tellez is much better than I. That doesn't mean he's more accurate nor more effective. As far as better than I, especially on Earth, oh, certainly. As most are. No problem whatsoever. That doesn't mean like what I just said. So, to keep this brief, as it's always hard to, I'm opposed to your stuff, Awake on the Other Side. I could not comment. And I have to say this because you've already made a thing about your spiritual leaders and doing this and that. There is no millions of years. That's part of their nihilistic CGI-based solar system, universe, galaxy shit. That's part of the nihilism narrative, is years upon years upon years. There was no marking of time, no need to mark time before basically before the sun started moving. Now, whether that was Saturn, as some propose, or whether it's the same sun and it started moving, or whether it's a different sun and started moving, there was no need to mark time. The sun sat still in the golden age, as they say, and probably did. There's too many markings. There's too many markings on caves and mark in general. That's why I accept that. They propose it in a solar system CGI, in a solar system universe model, which is absolutely impossible. With everything hurling at the ridiculous speeds they claim, yet the sun set completely still 93 million miles away and never moved. That's that's absurd to consider. I don't know why they even try. The Thunderbolts project. I don't know why they consider to propose that. I'm not saying it because the Thunderbolts project proposed this. I'm saying it because all the markings they show, it fits. It's Occam's razor. It fits that the sun did not move. So time, that doesn't mean you the biblical timeline. It seems pretty accurate. That doesn't mean you submit to the toxic masculine demiurge or Yahweh Jehovah, which had very reptilian, petty concerns and obsessed with which part of the dead animal it gets. Go cut that belly out of baby out of the belly, whether it's human or other mammal. Yes, I repeated that again. I repeat things, and Og would have me not speak this now because I'm choosing a storyline. The truth is the truth. It's not a storyline. I say what happened is what happened. Time. This comes to this how this works, isn't it? Time is fear, and fear is time. Much more than that. Money is time, and time is money. Money isn't real. Money is pure fiction. We know that. Never nothing more than a piece of paper saying I had gold elsewhere. Look how it's devolved. And to sit on your ass in an air-conditioned building, typing into existence while the migrant worker goes pick your fruit for you. And their family can die in the off-season. No repetition. There's nothing else to repeat. The problems that have to be resolved are the same problems. How else could I not repeat? How could I not else be predictable? Brother, I'm not talking to you. The Mark knows who I'm talking to. So there was no need. Time was born out of proposed scarcity or scarcity that never was. There was no reason to mark time because there was no seasons. The sun didn't move, so there was no marking of something, no marking the sun moving. There was no need to even mark the stars moving because there was no scarcity. There was no need to worry about when this, when that. So there was no time period. So millions of years is part of the traditional nihilistic narrative that is CGI solar system universe based. Whether you realize it or not, that's not coming out of arrogance. It's a reminder. And I love listening. I didn't love listening. Great guy. I do not understand why he won't yield to stopping his incessant needless complexity, because he just needless complexity after needless complexity that resolves nothing, and that's a big point. It resolves nothing, but he's dead on with that. Not one consciousness can be left captive in any construct, realm, construct, plane, what have you. In any modality of existence, a conscious cannot be left captive, or we risk unraveling, whether it be our DNA or all of existence, or love does not exist itself. Love cannot exist if we leave. Love will be no more if it ever was. If we leave one consciousness captive, it's impossible. Will not have it. That's part of my decision. What is your decision? Once you awaken, what do you do? It ain't just about keep awake and awake. Awake to what? Awake to remember to decide. Decide something. I'm not talking to any individual. I'm talking to myself as much as anybody. My mother loves to keep asking when I try to remind her, especially about money isn't real. She seems so fascinated still with money. Like, you just won't accept. You won't stop focusing on things, on matter, and you won't accept that money isn't real. Like, it really isn't real. And you just get giddy about these things. And it's like, it's not real. Mother, I'm not trying to berate you. It's not real in any way, shape, or form. It's typed in existence out of thin air, not just the loans. Not just the loans out of the fractional reserve banking system. None of it's real anymore, because whenever they choose to type it up into existence, they just fucking do. Loans is a convenient way to do it. It's by law impossible to loan capital. Hey, that's an old topic. I'm sorry. Got to shorten this. But I just had to remind y'all, like, because Og Tellez, like that's what I'm saying. He just stated it can't come all from one source. Just stated truth can't come from all one source, all the information, whatever, and then kind of wants you to shut down if you stick to a storyline. No, that's not going to have that. What happened is what happened. There's no evidence for millions of years whatsoever, and I mean, yes, I'm kind of picking a bone with him. I'm saying this to warn those that become accidental prey to his accidental predation. I'm not saying it's predation, and that's a bad word, but I don't say he chooses to misinform. He's one issue that he's on there with like David Maggi, like all flat Earth talking, and then you go watch other things. He's talking about universe and solar systems and time. He talks about time like it's real, way too much, and he vacillates constantly, or did, from flat Earth and closed biosphere to CGI solar systems. And the thing is, the solar systems are CGI or nothing else. There's no solar systems universe that are not CGI. All the planets you've ever seen are CGI. I wish I could find that clip, but I remember seeing that clip of the first voyage or whatever going out to the planet, to the supposed planets, and it looked like cardboard shit. I mean, it looked like something you make in kindergarten. It was so, it's inconceivably ridiculous. I can't find it no more. It's like as soon as I went back to find it, I don't know how long it was after, like I could never find it again. Like something wised up, like, oh, hell no, that's way too revealing. It's so audaciously kindergartenish looking. It looks like a pitch black room, and they got some cardboard Voyager going across some cardboard planets. I mean, it's really bad. It might have been plastic. I'm kind of overemphasizing it's that bad. So just little things like that, like Occam's razor. You got to stick with the simple. I'm not impressed with what anyone thinks they know. It scares me with people that know too much, because time and non-existent time again, they reveal like their insincerity. And no, I don't think Og Tellez is necessarily insincere. No, I really don't. But there's an arrogance that cannot be dismissed in his refusal to stop being so needlessly complex, because we know that's the opposite of love. If you didn't know that, once hearing it, like, of course it is. That's when I heard it, I was like, oh, I didn't know until I heard it. I was like, oh, well, that's obvious. Of course, love would be the opposite of needless complexity, because that's what's wrong with going on now. Perpetual needless complexity. So, yeah, I pardon the length of this video, guys, or whoever, like I said, like Awakening Leela, like first example of seeing, like, how does someone with 1.6 thousand, 1,600 subscribers practically have such few views to some of her videos? That doesn't even make sense. That's the one person really makes me, accept that YouTube lies about views and about views. Not just I don't have enough subscribers to be, I believe in my 36. Yeah, I got another one somehow, 36 million subscribers that I only get 1 or 2 views. That's realistic. But someone with 1,600 subscribers getting a handful of views on certain videos, this doesn't have more. But so just remember, like, all these teachers, grain of salt. He just told you not everyone can have all the information. So it don't matter. Like I'm the filthy port at the home where your internet cable's connected. I don't present pretty. I ain't pretty. Blah blah blah. That doesn't mean I'm inaccurate. It doesn't mean I'm accurate either. But that doesn't alter the accuracy of the information that comes through the lines in your cable. No matter how dirty the port is, or even the line, as long as it isn't damaged, the information's the same coming from the source that sent it. Horrible example. I don't have a lot of good examples for these things. But I'll stop. If anyone hears this, just remember that, because I think that the few subscribers I have are those meek, just extremely meek, don't need attention, don't want to teach, and don't need subscribers, don't really know what to say, don't know what the fuck's going on here, and and they're just not in this whole game that the Magis all this propose that we're in a game. I think even that's something Og does. But I'm not picking on Og. I tried and tried and tried him, and he just kept compiling needless complexity, long discussions about nothing that resolve nothing in the end, as he's saying in this video. Well, what's the point? if you don't, regardless if you didn't know, to stop and think today. If you don't get, I mean, if you, especially if you've lived a good half a decade and you haven't, and you see almost no results of what you would decide, you know that you have the right to decide, or how can you actually claim to be? And we all know power, like true decisions period, cannot be made by those who think they're in power or have the power, because that skews the decision. Just the fact you think you have the right to make the decision would skew the accuracy of the decision that had to be made, or decisions have to be made. Obviously, that's simple, blunt ass logic. Obviously. So what I would say is, like, yes, awaken or whatever. That's a cliche term now, but I'm not picking on Leela and that. Just that, that has nothing to do with anything. That's a lot of I get, like, the people I want to, that I admire and want to pay homage to, I end up like doing the exact opposite. But I end up like, and not playing the game. I don't necessarily like to challenge, but in a way it would seem like I'm challenged, but it's not that simple. I'm reminding us to, like Leela does in one of her later videos about the teachers. Like they do a lot of things that reveal maybe not necessarily other agendas, but not complete sincerity and any type of arrogance. Like I'm not telling you this with arrogance. It just, this is the most, I give you information that supports the hope that love actually exists. That's really what it boils down to. I've compiled information, and I assume it came to me in an order that could be compiled that reveals love does actually exist. So I don't care if Saturn was our first sun or whatever we would call Saturn, or if the sun moved or not, but it fits. There's no need for the room to spin around the light within it. The interior light in a room hanging from a ceiling fan or whatever. Why the fuck? That's not love. That's needless waste of energy, needless and complex. There's no need for infinite consciousness to have an experience. There's no need for the room to spin around the light. That's retarded. And it's no need. We already know their nihilistic narratives are not accurate. So there's no need to consider them. And that is kind of a bone, a thing in my crawl with old Tellez. That's something you cannot vacillate from, because you just said you don't want to be held captive, yet the captivity is based on the nihilistic narrative at the moment. You cannot begin to release yourself from captivity if you think you're a meaningless speck in a meaningless universe that happened by accident. I have to pick it. You cannot keep using, you can do whatever you want, but it's not sincere to keep throwing around millions of years when there's no reason for a year to have ever existed.